So let me just step back for a minute and I guess deal with the questions that have come in about the debate. And first of all, I want to say we understand the concerns. We get it. The president did not have a great night. The president had a cold. It's not about performance in terms of a debate.
Democrats are articulating is that it wasn't just that he had a cold, but rather he had, answers.
It is a fair question to ask. We understand it was a bad night. It is not uncommon for incumbents to have a bad night on their first debate.
What medications was he taking in the days or hours leading up to the debate?
He was not taking any cold medication.
After the debate, did the president get examined by a doctor or did he get a neurological scan?
What I can say is it was a bad night. We understand that it was a bad night, and he understands that. I cannot speak to anything beyond what I just shared. I just don't have anything beyond that, beyond the question of a neurological exam.
Is there an explanation then for why it was so bad? It's not a problem with his mental fitness. What happened?
The president also spoke to this as well. He said, I'm not as smooth as I used to be. I don't debate as well as I used to. I don't walk as easily as I used to. He understands that he's not a young man, obviously.
The public is trying to understand what happened.
Yeah.
If this is an episode or this is a condition. Which one is it?
He had a cold and a bad night, it was a bad night. And he did, on top of that, he had a cold.
This is not just a standalone instance that other people are saying that this has happened before. And also, are you being straight with the American people on that?
The president sees it as a legitimate question. And I think also the president saying, I am not a young man. I'm not as a smooth talker as I used to be. I don't walk as easily as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. And this is not the first time. We are acknowledging what people are seeing. It was a bad night.
72% of registered voters say the president does not have the mental and cognitive health to serve as president. So are you saying that the majority of Americans are misguided?
I think it is important to be sensitive here. We get it. We do. I do not want to take away from that. We get it. We get what Americans are feeling. He's not a young man. He's a little slower than he used to be and not as smooth as speaking. We get that. I'm not going to discount what the American people see.
Why not release more about his physical and mental health?
With age comes wisdom and comes experience. And I think that matters as well. And again, I will say with age comes wisdom and experience, and that's certainly something that the president brings.
The administration strongly criticized the media for clips showing the president appearing to be confused, freezing at times, and you called it cheap fakes, misinformation, disinformation. Do you have any regret over using that language?
Not at all. So I don't regret it at all. I don't
The
understand
approach
where
from the White
cheap
House
fakes
to criticize
was
the
related.
reporting, to basically cast the reporting as not true. And broadly, this has been, the reason I ask is like the administration's response to our questions often seems to be, don't believe your lying eyes. The border's secure. Afghanistan withdrawal was a success. Inflation's transitory.
I don't see anything wrong with that. This is what we actually do on a daily basis. This is how we lead the world.
Many people that we've talked to describe an accelerating series of episodes, moments when, over the course of the last several weeks, the president appeared confused or listless or would lose the thread of a conversation. These people suggest that what happened, what Americans saw at the debate, has a precursor. 50 million plus Americans saw the debate. They get a very different story from you. How do you reconcile those two versions?
It was a bad night. That's what we believe it to be. We're not taking away what people saw. We're just not. The president realizes. I keep saying this over and over again. He said he's not as young as he used to be. We also heard from, President Obama, who himself has said, his first debate wasn't great. He talked about that.
Have you ever seen the president have a bad night like we saw on the debate stage during your time?
I know that he had a cold. He was under the weather, obviously. we all have bad nights, right? It is not unusual. So it's not also unusual in that regard as well. And we want to turn the page for the American people as well.
I know you said
Yeah.
he hadn't taken any cold medication. Was there any other medication he had taken?
I don't have anything beyond that to share.
You have repeatedly referred to the president's outing after the debate at the watch party, his remarks the next day in North Carolina. All of those appearances were scripted events where he spoke
Not all.
from most spoke from
I
a
know, but you said
teleprompter.
all, but not all.
How are Americans supposed to get the sense that the president is fully engaged and capable and thinking off the cuff when he's reading from prepared remarks so often? And why can't he just come down here? The briefing room's 30 seconds away. Why can't he come down here and assure us and the American people that he's okay? Given what happened on Thursday, given the reporting in the New York Times and other outlets about the president's more frequent lapses, losing his train of thought, all of us saw what happened on Thursday where he simply could not form coherent answers, appeared to lapse into nonsensical answers. I think the American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia, or degenerative illness that would cause these sorts of lapses? And it's a yes or no question. And if you don't know, why don't you, as one of his senior staff members, know?
I have an answer for you. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's a no. And I hope you're asking the other guy the same exact question. He's not, it has happened in the past. First debates for incumbents, and sometimes it's not their best.
I know you've said a couple times that you want to turn the page.
Yeah.
The issue, I think, the core issue here is that you can't turn the page on age.
Yeah.
Aging decline is a one-way street.
Well,
So
right.
at the end of the day,
Right.
if these are the questions you're getting now, what are the questions you're going to be getting in 2 years or 3 years?
Look,
How can you or anyone say that you have confidence that he can be in this job at that time?
We are not turning the page on age. That's not what we're doing. We understand. We get that, right? The president said, I am not a young man. I'm not taking away from that. I don't want to do that. That is not, I do not want to walk off this podium and that's what you all think. But he can do the job. He can.
The question about what gives you confidence about 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, or 5 years?
We believe that this is a president that is able to continue to deliver and build on the unprecedented success that he's been able to do. That's what we believe. We believe, and he believes it.
The way we look at our elderly parents and grandparents, it's you maybe visit them once a year and you see troubling signs because you don't. And the first question that you go to is, I wonder if this is in a year. Where are they going to be in 2 years?
Yeah.
Do we need to put them in a home? All of the questions that go through that. And this is sort of the American people's version of that.
I hear, and I hear you, and that's what I'm saying. No, he had a bad night. He did.